Welcome to the first CD in the Home Improvement Sales and Marketing series entitled All Building is Local and Know Your SWOT. My name is Norm Ball. Let's get started. There is no more intense and challenging sales field than home improvement for three key reasons. 1. The intimate environment where the sale is conducted. 2. The intimate nature of the sale itself. And 3. The high stakes and irreversibility of the sold product or service. Let's take these one at a time. Reason 1. The intimate environment where the sale is conducted. You, a stranger, have been invited into another stranger's inner sanctum, their abode, their home sweet home, their refuge, their personal living space, their crib, the place where they raise their children. Furthermore, you are not there for social or casual reasons, although there's nothing to prevent you from making it a pleasant visit. You are attempting to conduct business over a stranger's dining room table, often with 5-figure expenditures and highly personal financing and credit details being discussed. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a privileged moment in a privileged space. The second major challenge of home improvement sales is the intimate nature of the sale itself. You are proposing to alter someone's living space. This is the one corner of the universe where people can escape the stresses of the outside world and really put their feet up. By golly, they cut the grass and they pay the mortgage. They want it just right, and they're going to dictate the terms and features of that space. Can you blame them? You are the new variable in that space, and you want to change it for a fee, no less. Third challenge, the high stakes and irreversibility of the sold product or service. Let's take an analogy. Your wife turns to you and says, "Honey, does my behind look too big in these pants?" Even if you answer incorrectly and spend a couple of days on the couch,
angry?
The pants can at least be returned. Try a new brand of soda, and if you don't like it, the remainder can be poured down the drain. Even a big-ticket item like a car can be traded in. However, buy a new kitchen, and there's no taking it back. All sales are final. The deck is exactly the height it is. The siding is exactly the shade it is. The HOA and the building inspector better be happy, because the only way back is painful and cost prohibitive. People don't take years mulling a new addition simply because of the cost. A lot is at stake. I'm raising the bar here not to put additional pressure on you, the home improvement salesperson, but rather to applaud you on the multidimensional needle you must thread every day as a home improvement salesperson. But then, that's why you make the big bucks, right? I know. I've sold decks, additions, bathrooms, and kitchens. There's a lot of talk these days about the internet. Search engine optimization, or SEO, social media marketing, lead generation, establishing a web presence, online branding, industry blogs, forum participation, maintaining an active LinkedIn presence, etc., etc. Let me be clear. In a number of specific areas, many of which I just named, the internet is every bit as powerful a tool in the home improvement industry as it is in other industries. No one can argue today that the internet has transformed the way business is done practically across the board. The internet has also obliterated many industries. How many brick and mortar travel agencies or record stores do you see anymore? Speaking as a former headhunter in a previous life, I can say that employment sites such as Monster.com and Headhunter.net forever altered that industry to the point of near extinction. But before you drop your presentation book in a blind panic, let me assure you, there is one thing about the home improvement industry that will never change. You will never sell a deck off a website. Home improvement sales will always rely on good old-fashioned human contact. Twitter is cool, but handshakes and eye contact will always be the real money makers. One of the other great advantages of home improvement, which should warm the hearts of all you old schoolers out there, is that it is a localized business by nature, by tradition, and by necessity. You can't swing a hammer in Virginia from a factory in Minnesota. Tradesmen are local. They are hands-on in the purest sense of that word. I want to relate a story about the home building industry because I think it's very relevant to our own home improvement industry. Now, I remember in the early years of the current century, before the big collapse of 2006, we don't have to talk about that, do we? Pulte Homes was in the forefront of scientific advance in home building techniques. The largest tract builder at the time, Pulte, through its research arm, Pulte Home Science, experimented with factory-based modular construction. Think of it as building at a distance. Think about this too. There is no more hostile work environment than an open-air home site buried in 6 inches of snow. Even with just-in-time delivery techniques, building materials sit outdoors, fully exposed to the elements. Mold is an ever-present problem. Why make mold's job even easier by sealing it into the building envelope with saturated construction material? An NAMP certified mold inspector, I can tell you that mold requires only 3 things to flourish. A nutrition source, such as wood, check. Moisture, such as, say, wet trusses, check. And an absence of UV light, i.e. darkness, as you might find in a recently completed attic or interior wall cavity. Checkmate. So you can see the obvious appeal of bringing the construction process, at least in some part, under controlled factory conditions. You'd get a drier and better product, and you would keep Mother Nature at bay a little bit longer. You would also have tighter quality control and better consistency of product. Well, it all sounded good on paper, but there was one problem. Homes are not widgets or assembly line output. During the construction phase, they are bustling hives of skills, trades, and materials. To make it even more fun, as we've just discussed, they are constructed outdoors. Building a home presents huge project management and scheduling challenges. The general contractor, or GC, has to juggle dozens of moving parts and subcontractors. Do we have time to talk about schedule? There is a critical path to negotiate as well. The roofer can't roof before the framer, who can't frame before the mason, and so on. Think of the cast of shady characters you need. If you think too much about it, a tent in the woods starts looking good.
Framers, roofers, siding, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, custom cabinets, fencing, decks, porches, insulation, drywallers, plasterers, excavators, septic systems, blasting contractors, concrete masons, waterproofing, paving, finish carpenters, stair builders, flooring, painters, landscapers, windows, home theater, home security, solar heating, garage doors.
And don't forget the kitchen sink. Ever tried to herd cats? Well, tradesmen are usually sole proprietors at work on numerous jobs reporting to numerous GCs. They're not employees, Let me tell you, they have a knack for reminding you. They march to their own drummer, they pay their own taxes, and have you ever seen a tradesman show up early? Pulte soon realized that centralized control in the construction phase of home building is a pipe dream. It has to be local, it has to contend with the elements, it has to be personal, it has to be eye to eye and toe to toe. I took this home building detour because what is home improvement after all but home building after the initial building phase? Just as you can't take the hometown out of the home, you cannot take the home improvement sale out of that home either. But wait, it's time for some good news. Home improvement in America will never be overrun by cheap imports, low-cost Chinese factories, or a telephone support person in Bangalore, India. Your competition will always be the guy just down the street. That great sucking sound of jobs leaving America? Thankfully, it's not coming from our industry. So, what have we covered so far? While you work in a highly personalized and challenging sales environment, you enjoy a captive local market. So there is both challenge and reward. By captive, do I mean shooting fish in a barrel or being the only game in town? No, not hardly. This brings us to the next topic on track 2, substitutability. See you there.